One of the biggest turning points of the manga just happened in chapter 1483. Ippo's path just became clear, and I'll tell you why. We see the tension in the gym. Everybody is worried about Mashiba. Aoki wants to talk to Ippo somewhere quiet. He's beating around the bush. What's going on? Is it serious or not? He takes a look at Ippo. Ippo stares at him with a serious look as he looks like somebody cut off his arms. And he keeps staring a hole into Aoki's head. Just as he starts speaking, Ippo looks absolutely shocked. What is it, bro? Is Mashiba still unconscious? Aoki says he doesn't know anything about that. And then he says Tomiko doesn't even know because she's at a different hospital. And then he takes out a piece of paper. It's the hospital Mashiba is being treated at right now. He tells Ippo to go there. Ippo takes the piece of paper and gets going. And just when he's running down the stairs, the gang appears. Kimono says, "Oi, take a cab." And he gives Ippo some cash. Not only some cash, but the whole wallet, bro. Those are true friends. Can you imagine Ippo going from being bullied to being a beloved member of this gang of strong warriors? Itagaki says he'll cover the morning fishing for Ippo at work, and even tomorrow. Bro wants him to leave for good apparently. Chill, bro, I'll be back in an hour or two. Ippo is visibly touched by how caring his friends are. He bows and rushes off with a cab. On his way to the hospital, Ippo is deep in his thoughts. He's worrying because he knows about the dangers of boxing. Then we finally get the prognosis. His external injuries will take a month to heal. Well, that doesn't sound too bad, right? But wait, there's potential damage to his brain and spine, and he's still unconscious? What? This is not good. And look at this heavy panel. The darkness is looming over the hallway and we only see Ippo's and Tomiko's silhouettes. Kumi is sitting far away from them on the bench. She looks like anyone would look in this situation. Sorrowful and in complete despair. This is as serious as it gets. We've never had a serious health situation like this before. Not even Nekota or Sawamura came close. In this panel we can't even see her eyes. Right now she isn't even present. She's completely shut off from the world. Ippo looks at her with an aching heart. He doesn't want her to suffer. Then Tomiko puts her hand on his shoulder. She says they won't know about his situation until he wakes up. When Ippo asks if he'll wake up, Tomiko tightens her grip. Look at her face. She's so serious that she became a baddie all of a sudden. Ippo can't believe this shit. She says Kumi believes in him. Tomiko then says she'll take care of everything. She tells Ippo to go home, but he wants to stay, at least until Mashiba opens his eyes. But Tomiko pushes Ippo to go home. She's firm about it too. What does this mean? And now the big turning point I've mentioned before happens. Pay close attention, because I've wondered about this as well. Tomiko explains why Kumi didn't even reach out to Ippo. She says boxing might have stolen her only relative. She doesn't want to see it or think about it. And with you, there's no way she can separate you from boxing. Holy shit. Let this sink in for a minute. Just think about the implications of this statement before we move on. This means so many things at once. Kumi wants nothing to do with Ippo because Ippo means boxing. So either Ippo can never be with her and thus there's nothing that stops him from boxing again, or, and this is less likely, he completely stops boxing and going to the gym just for her sake. We all know that's never going to happen. So it's more likely that she stops talking to him for a while to sort out her thoughts. Let me repeat this so it's clear. She probably won't talk to him until Mashiba is healthy and demands that Ippo comes over for a talk. And even then, I don't think she'll be around Ippo for a while. Let's remember this panel at the beginning of his retirement. Once the quiet love passes, the wind will surely rise again. Let's move on. We see the long distance between them in the hallway again. It already seems like she's a thing of the past. Ippo looks back at her one last time and turns away to leave the hospital. Outside, the sun is finally shining. Is it a new future? Just like this panel where the light was approaching Ippo in the darkness of his retirement? Because as he walks towards the horizon, something happens with the weather. Suddenly, the sky above the Kamogawa boxing gym darkens as Ippo is sitting in Kamogawa's office. Ippo says that during the match, all he thought about was that Mashiba should win. He wanted him to be world champion. See this? Ippo didn't want him to just have a good fight. He actually talked about the belt, something even Mashiba hasn't done. Then he mentions how Kumi was worried about Mashiba's health. He's asking Kamogawa how he's supposed to look at boxing going forward. Boxing is extremely dangerous after all. And it's wild that Ippo only now starts to think about this, since he himself ate some crazy amount of damage too, probably more than Mashiba. But as we know, he doesn't give himself the same empathy as he gives it to others. Kamogawa knows that Ippo means his students. He explains that his second's highest priority is to make sure their fighter gets home safely. He believes it with his whole heart. But as you know, there's a catch here. He continues and says at the same time he wants them to win at all costs. The closer he is to his fighter, the harder it burns. This is a cold statement, bro. This man literally lives and breathes boxing. And then look at this legendary panel. This is breathtaking, man. Kamogawa says, to see your fighter surpass their limits, that's really a thing of beauty. As he says this, he thinks about his two sons, Ippo and Takamura. You know damn well that Kamogawa wants to see Ippo back in the ring again too. Ippo says if they're going past their limits, you have to stop them. Kamogawa says absolutely right. And yet, when you look into the eyes of someone determined to go through the ants, can you really not waver at all? This is where Ippo's inexperience as a second shows. He's still too soft. Imagine the battles Kamogawa had to fight, and I mean inner battles, while watching his fighters struggle. This man is a boulder, a mountain of a man. Ippo has a lot to learn. After Kamogawa said his piece, you can see Ippo take it all in as Kamogawa looks out the window. He continues. Sooner or later, whether directly or indirectly, anyone involved in the world of boxing will face that same problem. Even today in the modern world, we can't stop thinking about it. As the rain starts pouring down the window, Kamogawa says even he doesn't have an answer to Ippo's question. As Ippo closes his eyes in frustration and concern, Kamogawa says, right now, all you can do is wait for news of Mashiba Ryo's recovery. Wait and pray. What a heavy chapter. The plot moved forward super quickly after the fight ended. This is a good sign. Not only are boxers eliminated from the main plot, but also side characters like Kumi. Morikawa really went ahead and killed off two Mashibas with a single stone. I think Mashiba will be fine in the end, but probably won't start boxing anytime soon. And Kumi will stay radio silent until the weather is clear. But in the end, you have to realize that it's not the fault of boxing. Mashiba chose this path and she'll have to come to terms with it. He's a truck driver too, and dozens of accidents happen every day on the highway. So should he stop driving for a living then as well? I don't think she'll cut Ippo off, nor will she give him an ultimatum. This is childish. Once Ippo comes back, he'll be so skilled that he won't even get close to having any injuries. And that's how he'll be able to lift Kumi's worries about boxing. We are heading for wild times, boys. 2025 will be a year full of battles and storms.